Bloodhound season 2 just came out and it's done, and I liked it. I really did. That show was nothing but pure action with a good story too. Um there are some things that I wasn't really a fan of. Like there were some things that happened that I just kind of went, interesting. But before I get to that, I want to glaze this show as much as I can. I think the first season was amazing too, even though I kind of forgot some of the things that happened because in season 2, there are some things that sort of undo a few things, which isn't like a big deal. Like I can kind of see why it happened that way, but when I see it, I'm just like, oh, I remember, this person was there, this person was there, that person was there. There are a lot of characters who return, by the way, like Kang Young, he comes back, the investigator dude. Kwangmu, the marine dude, he shows up. Sorry, I'm trying to process everyone's names because I'm not good with like K-drama Korean names specifically. I don't watch a lot of K-dramas, so it's pretty difficult. But overall, I think what they did in this season is not only they give back like or have like some characters return, they also bring in tons of new characters, and they are super competent in their roles that they are supposed to play. Usually, in like from the first season, from what I remember, Myung-gil, the enemy, right, the villain, he had his own like henchmen who did their own like roles and whatnot. Like there was a guy that was like a negotiator or whatever, but he's like really like weak and like he's very like cowardly too. Like he was super scared. Like that was established in like the first episode. But the new villain played by Rain, I gotta say, amazing performance. Holy cow! Like the only impression I got of him was when he was in that one music video with JYP. It was a good song, and I thought it slapped. But I was curious about what his acting would be. I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. Man, he cooked. I was stunned. Like his performance, I think, hot take, I think he was better than the first villain. I'm not to say that Myung-gil isn't like a bad guy or like a bad villain or anything. Like he was still, compelling. But I think what's special about Baekjung is that he is more of a challenge to Konu and Woojin, because those two are boxers. And I think, and this is something that I really like about the season, people are saying that it's not personal like it used to be because, the stakes in this show, they are high, but maybe not as high as what the first season brought in. But I think this is better in terms of like, they go back to their roots here. It's mainly about boxing. Like the whole premise of it surrounds what they do, like their background. Like it's been established since the beginning. Like these guys are boxers. Like what they do, that's how they were able to take down Myung-gil and like Small Capital. And then here they go back to the boxing, like their skills, and really try to hone them and go against Baekjung. Really, I think what they did here is they made it a bit more grounded, but at the same time at like a bigger scale. Like I don't know exactly how to say without spoiling it, because I don't want to get into spoilers yet. But back to what I was saying about like the other villains that they bring in who are like more competent in their roles. What I mean by that is, so there's another villain here. He serves Baekjung as like his muscle, his negotiator kind of dude. And Taegum is his name. But not only he's like the negotiator, and like he's like, he acts tough, he's like intimidating. He is intimidating. He is a fighter. This guy was able to hold his own against our heroes here. And I gotta say, the choreography with these characters were so well done. It was just, when I thought it was gonna slow down, nope, it just sped up. Like a villain like Taegum here, he was very compelling, and I think I liked him throughout the whole season. Like I think his character was probably the most interesting. The second most interesting character, oh my gosh, I'm so congested. I think it's because of this musty ass room I'm in. I think the second most interesting character is, we all know, Minbum. He was kind of like a shady dude in a way. Like he got involved with like Smile Capital and Myeonggil in the first season, right? Here he's a good guy, as you know, he helped out, you know, the our heroes here, our boxers, and you know and he still like assists them when things go haywire, things go poo poo. But something in this season happens and it affects him, and with that, he still has motives to, you know, take down the villains here. He kind of goes into a different direction that might be compromising their plans, maybe. Like, it's really interesting what they did with him, but I think Taegum was the best character in the season, other than like Baekjung, which Rain again did amazing as. Like, I really liked every scene that he was in. I was so excited and very nervous to what would happen. I think they crushed it. I just think a lot of the characters that they bring in here, you know, Taeyong, she's like their little like hacker girl or whatever, but she doesn't really get much screen time from what I remember compared to like everyone else, because it's so jam packed. But in every scene that she's in, she does like a lot in the season, and without her, they wouldn't have gotten out of the situations that they're in. Really, I think everyone served their purpose, and they cooked. They did it very well. Everyone had a moment to shine, and that's what I really appreciate. You know, they don't just bring in characters to make you, you know, just like feel like it's a waste of time. Like, why are we spending time watching these characters? Like, you get to see something out of them, and even the ones that don't stay for long, you still get something. Like, it still feels like, you know, they serve in a way where, you know, stakes are going high. Like, I really liked everything what they did with this season. Now, I've talked about the things that I really liked. I want to talk about some of the things that I didn't like. It's not like the show is like, it doesn't make it detrimental. Like, I get that the plot has to progress in a way where there has to be a little bit of like suspense of disbelief or whatever, or maybe like, you know, a few plot armor maybe here and there. But this is something that they drive home with many of the situations that they get in. So basically, spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers. So, Baekjung, he is the leader, not a leader, I should say. He's like, well, he is, actually, no, he is the leader of the IKFC. It's this underground, like, boxing ring, and it's like an illegal boxing ring. Like, people can die in these fights, and it's like handled in the dark web. This isn't somewhere where you can just like find in the surface, obviously. And because it's an illegal operation, a very highly illegal, you know, high profile operation, they have to be very meticulous in a lot of the things that they do. So they have like their own cleanup crew for the people that they kill. They have their own like hacker dude to make sure that, you know, no one can get them on their radar. They have, you know, Taegum, he's like the negotiator, and he's also like the muscle. He makes sure things run smoothly as well. They have, I mean, there are moments where they look incompetent, but they have better henchmen, stronger than what you see in season 1. Like, I think how they handle things, they're always so careful about, until one of the last few episodes in the middle. So, Baekjung, he wants Gonu to fight him, right? Well, he tells Gonu, you just fight me once, and then you don't have to fight ever again. You know, you're gonna make a lot of money out of this. I'm gonna make a lot of money out of this. You know, all that stuff, right? And what they do, gosh, my headphones keep disconnecting. I'm gonna take them off. So Baekjung, he torments Gonu by getting a lot of his friends and family hurt. At one point, tried to kidnap his mother. He, you know, gets Woojin hurt and beaten a lot. Kang Young gets hurt. Kwangmu, they get hurt. A lot of his, like, you know, loved ones get threatened. So eventually he caves in and he says fine, and then he joins the fight against Baekjung. And those two fight, and you can see these like live streams on the dark web, which, you know, Taeyong, she has access to with like a mule card that they have to use to, you know, create a membership. And they eventually find where that operation is. And how is that, you might wonder? You're probably thinking, oh, maybe some crazy hacking skill. She found like her IP address, or, oh, you know, she found like, you know, a little like hint there, in which it is a little hint of where they were, but it's super obvious. It's this big sign of the building that they were in. It was like a energy infrastructure building or whatever, and it's slapped on there, like everyone can see it, everyone on live stream can see it. It wasn't like an accidental, like, oh, it's like in the corner where they have to like magnify the screen and like, observe it. It's straight up plastered on the screen right in front of us. And then she's like, oh, yep, that's the building. And then they eventually found him, and then Baek Jung gets away before he gets to kill Konu, and then Konu gets saved. It's like, okay, I can see the point here. They wanted to do, I think the idea was to show that Baek Jung is a very tough villain, and Konu could have died. But I just think how they got caught was a bit lazy. Like, I feel like they should have known this beforehand, because they are being very, very careful with many of the things that they do. Like, this is basically the freaking, like, Korean mafia. Or, actually, I shouldn't say mafia. I think mafia is more reserved for European gangs, but you get the point. Like, I think how they got caught here was just like, there's like a big whoopsie daisies, they caught us, they must have known, because the sign of the building is just right there. It's like, okay, like, and like I was like, okay, whatever, like I just try to like get over it, but still I thought it was a bit weird. Another thing that happens here is some of the characters here, they like our heroes here, like Kang Young, and he does this a lot, by the way. So he finds out that there are cops that are, corrupt. They are secretly working for Baek Jung because they are getting the money. And he even gets told that these cops are, there's a cop, working for Baek Jung, because Baek Jung literally tells Konu, yo, we got some, of our guys in your police station. But Kang Young, he's just very, like, he says himself that we can't tell anyone else about this. But when he gets back up, it involves, like, other police officers, and, like, the freaking Korean SWAT team show up. I don't know exactly what their, like, official name is, but it's a bit odd, because I feel like had he called them, like, in, the guy who's, like, then undercover, like a double agent, probably would have done something to stop it, but he doesn't. In fact, you only see him interfere once throughout the entire season, and that's it. So it's just like, okay, like, it didn't feel like it was hard to get the other backup involved, because even later on, they get more backup, but they are actually, like, the good guys. But it's like, how would they have known if they didn't even know who this undercover, like, double agent was? It was just weird. And not only he was just so like willing to trust, bringing in like his like hube, or sorry, if you're not Korean, you probably don't know what that means. Like his like junior like subordinate, a new character. His name's Ujong. He shows up, but it's like it could have been him too. I mean, they do show exactly who this double agent was, but Baek Jung kind of implied that there were more. And really, even if it was only one character, I felt like there could have been more cops involved. So it's like, why would he have just been so willingly able to trust him when he didn't trust Kwangmu, because he was a loan shark? It was established in the beginning of this season that they didn't really like each other that much. Or Kwangmu didn't have a problem with him, but the investigator Kang Young, he did. So it's like, it's a bit odd in my opinion. Like I get like why he would have trusted Woo Jung, because he is, they've known each other, there's history. But it's still weird though. Like, I feel like there were some things that they really drive home through with, but then there are moments where it's just kind of ignored. Like, another example is Gina. There's this like casino like dealer girl that gets involved. She like drugs Min Bomb and like, does some shady stuff. Eventually she works for our heroes here, and they have her try and meet this like resource dude, Manbe, whatever. I forgot his name. I think, but yeah, his name's Manbe. And she was supposed to meet him at like a cafe or whatever, pretty discreet or whatever. And then, Ujong and Kang Young, they know that, they're watching her, monitoring her. But then when she was told to go outside and meet him, they still stay in there. But that's a bit odd because another thing is they make it very clear that the people that they need to watch, that they have to be like in their proximity. Like they can't be anywhere really alone. But here what Shinade did, and then eventually she gets slashed in the throat because Manbe found out like, oh, she's working for them. And also they get caught too, by the way, Woo-jung and Kang-young, because it's in a public space, even though it's their I don't know, it's like a supposedly a discreet location. They're not being very careful too. I think there were more moments where I felt like, and this was in the very beginning, Kwangmu is more like meticulous and ensuring that he doesn't get caught. But then Kangyeon and Woo-jung, they're just kind of like out in public, out and about, kind of doing, that. Like maybe I'm overthinking it. It's just some things that I've noticed, but again, it's not detrimental. It doesn't make it like the season like unwatchable or anything. It was just some things that I've noticed that there were times where they don't really follow what this season is trying to show you, that you can't trust anyone, but there are moments when they do trust people and it works out for them. There are moments where it's like you can't be alone, but then they let them be alone and then they die. I don't know. It was just stuff like that that kind of, made me a bit, oh, okay. Like, it's whatever. There are other things that I do want to talk about, but I don't think I want to spoil that much. I'll probably just leave it there. But overall, I think Bloodhound Season 2 is a must-watch. I think what they did throughout the whole season was just stunning. Like, the action is by far a better than what we get in Season 1. Not that to say that the action was bad. It was still good, but the action here, it's dialed up to like freaking 1,000. I'm not even kidding. Like, people can argue that the first season was better in terms of the story. Maybe I don't know. My opinion, I thought this one was better. I really like Season 2. I really do. And that's all I gotta say. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.